Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to another edition of In the Metal, where myself and Dan Spitz in the United States, we get a chat about some of the lesser seen corners of the independent watchmaking scene. And when I say lesser seen, we're talking about the next generation of young independent watchmakers who are rising talents, who are emerging stars. Tonight, we welcome not just one watchmaker, but two. And they're a partnership based in Geneva or in Renan. And they have been working together. Their company is 3 years old, about 2017 they set up. And they have a list of connections that is like a who's who of the watchmaking royalty of in the independent sector. So they've also introduced the movement. The watch that they've created is called a deadbeat or seconde, morte complication. And that means it looks like it ticks like a quartz watch. The second hand jumps 60 times every minute. It looks easy. It is anything but easy. And so I would like to invite Dan over and to join me and see how we are getting on.
What's going on, my brother?
What is the story? Did you see me nearly messing that up there, did you? So
you're like operation manager.
That's it. Yeah, we're going to have to expand the organization here, man. You know, I'm going to need a producer and a makeup artist too. I think makeup.
It's like poser metal, dude. You like hairspray and a blow dryer. Makeup on and going on stage as poser metal, dude.
That's I think I'll do that there, Joe. The way the Kiss do, So put on a little makeup.
That's different. The Kiss is different. That's not poser metal. That's different. I'm talking about,
is that allowed, isn't
it? 80s LA poser metal.
A bit of spandex and some lovely hair out there, man. So
no, it's all going good here. I'm hard at work doing some CAD work these last few weeks on the last few steel bridges on my dial side, some hold downs, and trying to obtain some tools and some non-existent materials that don't exist anywhere that I can find them. But it exists. But after a week or so of trying to find tools, and then you get an email back that says, "Sorry, no send," meaning they're not sending it to the United States. So that's what I've been dealing with these few weeks. And it's a struggle once again, but
you will have the first watch made out of unobtainium, and
that's really good. I like that. Yeah, I think you just penned the name of my watch. The unobtainium.
Wow, how did I get over that?
That's pretty badass. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have registered it right away.
So, hey, look who we've got tonight, Dan. We have got two amazing young guys who are joining us, and they've set up their watch company. They've gone the independent route. They've spent time working. Both of them have spent time refining their art, learning their skills at Lange and Son, at Harry Winston. Heck, Gaël.
Sven Andersen.
Sven Andersen.
Another one of my heroes.
He is. He's watchmaking royalty, and so Joe, what an experience! What a place to learn your craft with someone like Sven Andersen, who and people may not know. Not everybody's going to know who Sven Andersen is. But
good. More for me.
Well, his order books, I think, are pretty busy.
Now, what we have here today, this show is really special, actually, because this is pretty much the epitome of what we want In the Metal to be about, to do, to help bring light to young independent watchmakers who are traditionally trained the right way. After they're trained in school, they're going to work with some of the masters of masters. They're getting the proper experience. They did it properly. Nothing's fast here. It makes it sound like it's fast. This is a very slow road. They might seem like they're young, but they're extremely talented, and then just happen to fall into where the workshop is. I'm not going to say everything, but we'll get to there. Just fall into a position where a master can help them with their first timepiece. So they are young, but they have the knowledge. It's not someone who just came out of school and they're going to make a timepiece and they don't know what longevity is in a movement. They haven't seen enough yet, which is somewhat of a problem we have in independence. They did everything step by step perfectly. I've been following them a long time since they started out here, and they're badasses. They're young badasses that this is the proper path.
Badasses. You hear that, guys? You're badasses. So they sure are. Listen, it's time we introduced them. Going over to the Petermann Bédat atelier, where we are joined by Florian and Gaël. So let me see if we can fix this up a little bit better here. Aha!
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing great, and you?
All good, all good. How could we not be in company of Dan Spitz?
How you doing, guys? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
So if you could tell us a little bit about where you went to school. I know there's been a few articles out there, but not everyone has got to see you guys and really know about your talent and what it takes to get where you are today. So if you could tell us each of you just rather swiftly what schools you went to and what ateliers after school, who helped you along. As you heard, we did say about Sven and A. Langeson. So if you could fill us all in so everybody knows all the hard work you've put in and sweat and curse words and tools you've thrown and beers possibly you've drank.
Oh, yeah. So the system in Switzerland is when you are 14 or 15, you have to decide if you want to continue to study or find a job. And you make normally 3 or 4 years for a certificate in whatever work you want to go. And at this age, you are very young and you have to decide for your future. I knew I wanted to be in mechanic because I like doing stuff, and my father showed me watchmaking. I was like, oh, that's good. And 2007, the watchmaking was just rising a lot. And they say, yeah, there was such a lot of watchmakers for 2010. They didn't know about 2008. So I began the school there, and we met Florian in 2007 because we were in the same class.
What school is that?
The Geneva watchmaking school. I think our friendship began really in the second grade because we had a teacher who worked 25 years at Patek Philippe, and that's funny because Sven Andersen, when he left Patek Philippe, that's this teacher who takes his place at Patek Philippe workshop, and he teaches about beveling, polishing, and every finishing stuff, and we really learned a lot with him. And we made some competition with Florian. I took his spring and just go under the microscope to see every details and say, yeah, here you have a scratch, and it's oh no, I will take it back and just polish more. And so we had a small competition between us, but good competition, not a bad one.
Yeah.
And after that, after the 4 years in watchmaking school, I really wanted to go to Philippe Dufour workshop. Of course, I called him and he said, no, I don't search anybody. Okay. And I knew that.
You started right at the top, bro.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, and then I saw that he really liked Lange Söhne. And I say, why not? I will send a letter to them, but they will never answer to me. But 3 days after that, they say, we are very interested. Can you come for make a bench test? And I was like, okay, it's real.
Wow.
So maybe it's gonna happen. And when I was 19 years old, I left everything to go to Germany.
Wow.
In Switzerland, you learn German till 14, but then I had 4 years to forget about it. So I went there with a very bad English and very bad German, but I say I really want to work for them. And I spent 3 years there. So basically in the old Lange one model, moon phase, side zone, stuff like that. But the old ones, not the new ones. Now they have a different caliber. And then I passed more than 1 year at the perpetual calendar and annual calendar department. I learned that.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
just kind of come across there. Can you get the microphone a little bit closer? Are you using a shared mic?
Sorry, it's all the old computers.
Oh yeah, much better.
That's already better. That's already better. It's
Okay.
just.
And then I went a little bit less than 1 year at the chronograph department. It was really interesting because now if you go to a big company, if you assemble a perpetual calendar, everything's works. You put a wheel, that perfectly works. But with Lange, it took a lot of time to assemble because you had to mile some stuff or bend some stuff. And for example, I think maybe 1 or 2 springs were good. Otherwise, you had to adjust it perfectly because it's a perpetual calendar, but with a big date. And it seems like easy, but it put a lot of complication to adjust it. And that for me, it was a really interesting job because you are not just assemble. You have to to mile or do stuff like that. And it's real watchmaking for me because it's if it doesn't work, it's your fault. Not the fault of the micro mechanic or and then maybe Florian can.
Yeah. So like Gaël, I started the watchmaking school of Geneva in the same time as him. Also, I took have a choice between taking studies or taking apprenticeship, and I always wanted to do something with my hands. So it could be with wood, with steel, or whatever. And I have my best friend, his father was working in Rolex, and I get interested in watchmaking. I say, why not? There is a school very close to my home, and I started an internship in Vacheron Constantin, and just to see how it works. And I did 1 day there, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny how the things work. It's very little things, little wheels, little pinions. So I really like this job, and say, yeah, why not try? So I did also a bench test, and they accepted me, and so I started my school. Like Gaël said, at the second grade is the grade I was really realizing that this is my job. I really like it because with the competition, with beveling, with pivotage, with the pivots also, and for me it was very good, the competition we had, because it's always like we wanted to improve our beveling, our polissage, and that's why I started to really like this job. And then I did 4 years there, like Gaël also, and then I got a workplace in Winston. They were searching someone for the encasing department, so for me it was the normal beginning for young watchmaker. And I did like 1.5 year there, And then they proposed me to go to small departments where we had to assemble small complication plates when then you had it on the movements. So it was very like the first you have to take the wheels and put something together. So it was very interesting for me. So I accepted the next job.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the the time where Swatch Group came to buy Ali Winston, and it was a very big change for Ali Winston and the watchmaker there. And I saw that the job was getting little bit boring. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
They can say yeah.
Yeah, that's, you guys are doing great. Keep going.
Yeah,
Excellent, man.
they cancelled everything for the where the department I was. So assembling all the small complications, they just cancelled
Just
it.
changing it and canceling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's at Ali Winston. I still have contact from my colleagues, and it's still it's just encasing there and service center. So I was like, yeah, I maybe need to find another place to improve my skills. And I always kept contact with Gaël, even if he was in Germany. And he told me what he was doing there, and it's like it's crazy because he was already in a perpetual calendar, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, for me, perpetual calendar it was the top.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, why not try it there? So also I did a test there for 3 days. And when I finished, they already told me, yeah, we are very interested in you. And do you want to come by us? I was like, okay, that's also was a big decision for me. And I said, yeah, why not try and see how it goes? And I started in 2014, yeah. And I went to a department where we had to do everything from A to Z, except encasing. That was good for me because I already did encasing, so it was good.
Right.
And for me, it was a very good school. It was for me, it was the second school of watchmaking. We had to do everything. So I just the handshake. We had to do the réglage, the réglage of the anchor and the escape wheel. So it was very full work, and I had to do for the longer one, the 8015 and the Saxonia. So
excellent.
it's small complication, but for me, I went there because we had to do everything. So it was very interesting. So I could see every step from a vision of a big company.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I learned a lot there. So, and then Gaël, when I arrived in 2014, Gaël went back to Switzerland after 6 months. 6 months. And he went to Sven Andersen.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was time for me.
So wait a minute here. So you keep deserting him wherever he follows you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All our work experience is quite similar. But we were following like this. It was
Yeah. But he keeps running away from you, man.
Yeah, exactly. I have to be careful. Maybe 2 years. I have to go to. I don't know where. Yeah.
It's still an amazing experience, isn't it, for young guys in that environment? It's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Why I didn't interrupt you, either one of you, is because the people that will be watching this, they need to understand what it's like in Switzerland, because there's a lot of people that don't understand, or in Germany, obviously, where they Lange, how it works. You know, when you come out of school in Switzerland and you apply for a job, and some of the job is what I call movement stuffing. You know, the movement is done, you get a case. And I know you went 4 years to watchmaking school and you know a lot, but here, this is your job. And Friday you get your paycheck. You got to start somewhere, like any other profession and any other profession or any other job. You got to start sometimes at the bottom and work your way in. And if you're a pushy kind of person, and you just like after 6 months or 8 months, like you guys, like I can't do this anymore. Like I want to work on perpetual calendars. Then you break out and you have to apply somewhere else or wherever you have to go. If you're not, then you're just going to stay there and be a robot over where you are, which you guys know, and people end up doing the same job forever. So I wanted you guys to show everyone that there's a path to where you just got. You know, you have to be outwardly going. You have to be friendly. You have to meet other people, and you have to start at the top, like you applied right to do for. Like you can't be scared. Just go for it. It's the same as being in music. You have to just meet people. You have to go out. You have to go to other people's shows. You have to push your way backstage when they say, "Oh no, you can't see him." It's the same to get somewhere in what we do in independent watchmaking and strive to where you want to go. You kind of fell in because you ended up, obviously they saw your talent that you could do perpetuals and stuff like that. That's pretty, very hard. Yeah. So, have either one of you been in the restoration part?
Okay, so then I came to Andersen because our teacher in the 4th grade stayed 17 years at the Andersen workshop as independent, and we heard all the stories about him, what he did, and he worked for Christie's before that, and then he quit Andersen, and he gave his job at Christie's to another watchmaker who worked for Andersen, and he became teacher. And in 2014, I was in Baselworld because I had to choose if I want to stay in Germany or I come back to Switzerland. And I say, okay, if I find a good job here in Switzerland, I will come back. And I spoke with Sven. And he just remembered me since I visited his workshop with my teacher. And he said, you can speak German and a bit English, and that's good, and you work for Lange. And to explain how it works with Sven Andersen, he has a workshop, has a brand, he produces some watches, and he has no employee there. You can go as independent. He will give you 50% of work, and you have to find by yourself 50% of work as independent. You pay your rent, but he provides a machine and the material and everything.
Wait a minute, stop. Get a little closer to the microphone if you can.
Sorry.
Explain that one more time, how Sven hires you, and what do you mean by that? That's very interesting.
Yeah, so I went to Baselworld, and I say, okay, I would like to work for you. And say, we are searching for a new watchmaker. You can come to our workshop. I give you 50% of work, and you have to find 50% of the other.
What do you mean he gives you 50% of the work?
Because I'm full independent. I'm not employee of Sven. And it's a technique that he has no
employees.
No employees, so no taxes. I think it's a good thing for both ways. But a lot of people, and Sven always try to help. That Felix Baumgartner work for him. So my teacher helped him on his first project.
So are you saying he says, okay, you come work for me, and you can use my tools in my workshop. I give you some work, but maybe it's not a lot of work all the time, so you have to get some other work from restoration work or elsewhere. But he lets you work in the workshop on whatever you want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when he needs you, he gives you a pile of whatever and you work. Maybe 1 week is slow. You're on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. That's great. Excellent.
That was
freedom.
That's what I want to do when I don't know if you guys follow me at all, but that's basically how I want to help American watchmakers, exactly like you guys, coming out of school after a little bit. You come, you can use the machines, everything here. You work for me when I need you. Today I don't need you, but here, use the machines, make your own watch, do a repair, do what you want. That's the way you get for me to help someone like you guys get to the next step.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's the right way. There should be more people like Sven, and that's the same thing I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So you both of you agree this is a very good way, right?
Yeah. Completely.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do here in America, in addition to that, is we're trying to get collectors who buy your watches and buy my watches to start a fund Yeah. So if you do come here and maybe you don't have work for a week, or you want to work on your first watch here in my place, you don't have to make money. There's a fund, You free money as long as you're working, right? You get a salary for the week from the fund. And I think this is a very good idea.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Because the fund are the main problem when you are independent.
Well, the fund, and in my country here is to find the Shablins.
The machines is,
and the Hauser Jigbors and the Asieras, and in this country it's almost impossible, So let them use all the machines and to create for my country, And I think every country should have this. You guys, this is a great story, You fled your home country and went to Germany, you traitors, right? But then it was no fondue over there, so it was only schnitzel. You guys had too much schnitzel. You had to come back. Yeah, I get it. Wow, this is killer, man. This is how it's done. So everyone that's watching should really understand. This is the path to being young, getting your hands into everything and everyone. And fortunately, they're both of them. They're in Switzerland, and they can go to Germany. There are around many companies where you can get hired. In my country, that doesn't exist. Most people fall into after sales service or Rolex, or they apply for Audemars Piguet in Florida, a service center, or Patek Philippe in New York City, something like this. There's really no manufacturers. Which is actually good for independent people like you and I, because more and more people like me, I hope, will spread in this country and other countries. Yeah. So this is good. So basically, at this point, you guys are probably both thinking, "Hey, man, we get along great. Like, man, we got to make our own watch somehow or something." Because you were just saying you did do some restoration work, both of you. So in both, not just new watches this whole time, right?
Also old pocket watches. Was the most interesting job to do. So,
as I've done for most of my life, I specialized in a lot in Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin, old vintage. It's how you learn. It's how you learn, because I think you guys can agree. It's not the watch; it's all the other watchmakers inside messing everything up.
And also, when you think about how they did back in the days, it's like sometimes so crazy. You see the watch, it's like how they did that.
There's in candle with a candle and no no motors for the machines, right? It's crazy. It's really crazy. You had to be crazy. We're all crazy, but they were extra crazy.
They're crazier.
So when you restore a watch, you have no excuses. When you restore an old watch, they say, it's broken. I say, okay, you can remake a new one. Because if they did it 200 years ago, you can do it now.
Right. Which leads us to some people always ask, like, why aren't you guys, it's the new technology, why aren't you using Sicilium and whatever other space age crap that they're inventing to put inside our watches? And what you guys said pretty much sums it up. Again, pretty much everyone I speak to has the same view on it as me in independence, that, we stick to brass, we stick to German silver, we stick to a certain kind of steel for the pinions, because we've seen watches 200 years old, and it doesn't take much to bring them back to life.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's an interesting question, because about material. For me, it could be a really good idea to put new material in watches, like Paul Dittisheim did it 100 years ago to increase chronometry. But I think now the problem is they don't use these new material for make better watches, like more accurate, but because it's cheaper. And I think new material is good, but it's just too bad. What are you doing with it? You can make some crazy stuff with the machine we have today, and they use it for what? For making a chronograph just cheaper and sell to you higher. that for me, that's just the problem. I really open with new material. That's not
That's very good. Nobody has said that before. I tend to agree with that. I'm always looking for new avenues and new ways to do things. I think we all are. We all have our way. There's certain machines we use and certain things we're taught. But as we go through this long pathway of watchmaking, for me, is, since I'm 8 years old, but 25 years of schooling and apprenticeship after when I started schooling. You move through all those ways, and you see things come and you see things go, but the ones that stay are still the ones that are 200 years old. It just is. It just is what it is. It is what it is. You guys get that, but okay. So tell us about your timepiece. I'm sure, Johnny, you got some pictures you can throw up of the movement.
That is what I have been working furiously on for the last 30 minutes, guys.
We're really excited because when I first saw it, man, seriously, it's a great story. How you'll talk about how you got your shop and just who happens to be next door, which is mind blowing. And it's another part of your story. That's why I wanted you to start in the beginning, how you guys have each worked hard to get where you're going, but somehow fate has brought you guys like this shining sun that follows both of you, So and the design, I think, of what you're doing, because my favorite complication, I think, is deadbeat. Deadbeat with hairspring, has to have hairspring. I want people to understand that this is not simple. This is, this is perpetual calendar type, brain scratching type stuff. Right? It looks.
I have no hair anymore.
Right? It looks simple to people. They think, oh, it's a couple extra escape wheels and this and that. But the watchmakers, we know how complicated this is. It's not about, hey, we want to trick you and think that it's a quartz watch. This is seriously hard complication to put in a timepiece.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a look at the complication. And firstly, I want to thank a couple of people here tonight. I want to thank Frank Geelan, because I have stolen images off monochrome tonight. I want to thank Peter Chung for stealing images of Deployant, and I think SJX, I also have a few of his as well. So we were, so I don't know if that's a little blurred, is it?
No, that's perfect.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, because it is spectacular. I watched a little video of this. I was hoping to get a video of it uploaded in time, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But to see how everything interacts and the little arrow levers that they oscillate between one and the other to create this this deadbeat seconde more complication. And I first saw this, I think the first time I was aware of deadbeat was on, again, we've spoken of many times, Dan, Paul Gerber, and I think also Felix Abring also had specialized in the deadbeat second. And I was amazed by this, because I coming from Ireland, I was always of the opinion that, if the second hand ticked, it was a quartz watch, and
here
I go.
No, the Gronefeld brothers are the ones that really brought it to the forefront with their first watch, the 1 Hertz.
The 1 Hertz.
All of us watchmakers were like, okay, cool. Finally, it's it's in the forefront. People will understand. This is not an easy mechanism to make. There's 2 different ways. Well, there's many different ways to make it, but there's basically 2 different ways to make it, right, guys? We can come off the seconds wheel, or we can put it in the escape wheel. So there's 2 different ways. It can come off the train, or it can sit on the escape wheel. You chose the second wheel, which is a whole separate mechanism, which is the extremely difficult way to do this. And you made it just beautiful. Can you tell us a little about how the gentleman next door to your new workshop collided with you, and you helped him, and fill us all in on how that happened and how this came to be?
Yeah, so we got this workshop in Renaud, and Gaël was the first to hear about that. It was a friend of his that he told us that there was some place here where free to have some workshop, and he told me, yeah, we can do a workshop here, and we are next to Dominique Renaud. So for us, okay, that's a good opportunity, and we got a lot of good connection with him. And at points, he asked us for some help for his project, and we said, yeah, why not? We had to do also beveling, decoration. We have to assemble a complete watch, non-functional. It was just to see if everything is going great. And with Gaël, we were like, yeah, it's a lot of hours of work to do. And we said, yeah, maybe we can trade hours with Dominique Renaud and not get paid, but we asked him if we could make new movements with his how do you call
Is engineer, I think.
engineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that's a good idea. And so we just did this deal. And for us, we were like, oh, that's so great, because we had the idea of making a watch, but we started to have maybe to start with old movement, to decorate it and make it brand new. But after we got this opportunity with Dominique, so we say, yeah, we can do a Calibre from zero. So first we wanted to do a simple 3 hands watch, very simple and pure in style. And then we say, yeah, why not put a small complication? Back in the days, it was small complication, but now it's very complicated. But yeah, that's a good idea. We got a book from our book library, and we saw this complication from Gaffner, and we look at this and say, oh, that could be a good deadbeat second mechanism, because it was on top of the movement, and you could really see all the mechanism moving. We also like the idea with the double anchor. And then Gaël showed me some pictures from our whole pocket watchers, where back in the days they were doing some very crazy shape of the anchor. Back in the days, was to equilibrate the anchor to have the same amount of weight on both sides. And he showed me some crazy anchor with arrows, with a Swiss cross, and so it's crazy. So yeah, why not put in this double anchor for the deadbeat second? And so we had this idea. We discussed with the engineer, and he developed everything.
But when you discussed with the engineer, did you guys already know? I think you're basing this on like a Valjoux 80.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's 72.
72, but it's not the 72. It's without chronograph. It's like 81, I think, or something. I can't remember.
No, there was a misunderstanding. I think in monochrome. It's just because we took the most difficult part to have is the escapement. So basically, the escape wheel, the anchor, and the double plate. I don't know the name in English. And we had these parts from Valjoux, and we say, okay, I don't want to be dependent from Nivarox, Swatchgroup, or someone else. And I say we can take these parts and make a watch around this. And of course, at the end, you have the escapement you have to put in some ways. And we wanted to keep this diameter of 30 millimeter. That's why it could look like Valjoux, because of course, if you put an escapement in the place and the barrel in the other place, then the wheels will look similar, but you can't take, for example, wheel from Valjoux to put in our movement, because this is not exactly the same.
So you're making all the train wheels and all the pinions yourself?
Yeah. Not in a workshop. We are making them in CNC.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's proprietary, right? To you, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're only using the escape wheel and pallet.
Escape wheel, anchor,
double
and pallets.
Yeah. Okay. And, people should really know what's going on, and you make your own nameplate. So you're making you have a full in-house movement, because Most people don't even do that. So this is a very big undertaking. What about the setting mechanism parts?
We wanted, because on pocket watches you can see really nice setting mechanism parts, and we say, okay, we need to keep with this nice spring or a nice lever, and we were inspired by Lange because back in the days all the parts in normally German watch they were black polished. Even if you had a chronograph, if you have a minute repeater, all steel parts were black polished, and we really loved it with Florian. So we decided to do the same. So the problem with the setting mechanism is sometimes one part is on another part, so it makes scratches because you pull the crown all the time, and then it scratch, and you say, okay, it's too bad if at the end you make a black polish on it and then it scratch after 1 year. So we decided to make in just one level setting mechanism. Nothing, that's not an innovation. We get inspired by all the pocket watches.
So are you still, when you say, let's say you wanted to make your own setting mechanism, do the both of you work in SolidWorks or was it Fusion? Do you just do the designing? Have you decided to learn some of that yourself? Are you making these parts, any of these parts in your workshop, or have plans to move that into your new workshop?
You are talking about 3D or real parts?
Both.
Both. Okay. So
because I know you guys got plans. Because what I'm trying to show everyone is how hard it is to start. We have to start any way we can start, right? So
exactly.
You guys fell into a beautiful situation where someone has offered to help you because you offered to help them first. Mm-hmm. And that's really beautiful. And you've created something beautiful. But as watchmakers, we always have another dream and another plan because we like to do everything ourselves. Yeah. Most of us who are true artisans for independent watchmaking, right? Mm-hmm. Most of us want to keep it small. Some people 10 watches a year, some people 20, whatever it may be. So if you can tell us, because your watch is obviously incredible. We all know that. We all just hunger and we want to know more of what you guys are doing in your workshop and what your plans are. I know you have a couple Shaolins there, right? You got like a 70 and a 102, I think, and some other things. So tell us are you going to start to cut some pinions and gears in your workshop, and et cetera, et cetera.
So basically, because we have all this machine, because we are making restoration. If the pinion is broken, we make a new one. That's why we have all this machine, and with our watch, we don't make the wheels, we develop them because the price would be different. Otherwise, if you're doing everything by yourself. We want to continue to use CNC for the ebosh. But making a special, if we make a watch with make all 20 gears and a plate, it would be really, really interesting projects that we would love to. But I think it would be just one model or something really special. I would love, because I love this chronometry history, and take the challenge to make a watch who is really good in chronometry, like they did it 200 or 300 years before. It would be a really nice challenge, like a pocket watch, like a real chronometer. But otherwise, we want to continue the production. For us, Calibre is like the goal we want to reach, because it's not a huge team. This is very human team. He has his own CNC, can do everything by himself, and I think that's our both goal that we want to.
So that was my question, because Carrie has he hires people to do his CAD, and he has brought he's a firm believer in Haas CNC. He is in the basement of his house, but
Yes.
Yeah.
just so everyone's aware, his house is like a chateau.
Yeah. So we took
Yeah.
a visit 1 month ago.
Yeah.
It's just-
That's why it's your guys' dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just for the garden.
But what I was asking is, some of us like me, I stop everything for about 1 year, and I learn CAD, and I learn CAM, and I learn programming and G-code, and I build my own CNC machine myself, so I can understand everything. So I'm not reliant on paying somebody who might not show up for 1 week or 1 day. So are you guys interested in both of you learning SolidWorks 3D or to have your own CNC machines and run them yourself? And because people have to understand that, like someone like Carrie, they have a misunderstanding of CNC, a lot of the collectors, like it's a dirty word. But the way we use it is not the way Ita uses it. It's nothing like that. All we're using, we still standing by the machine all day. It's not coming out right. It's just a little faster. But once we get one of whatever that part is, at least we can put the material back in, and the second one is the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the only thing that we're really using CNC for, is that we have the same wheel, the same nameplate. So explain to us what you guys have a plan, because are you going to stick a guy in your basement and pay him like it carries and say no windows for you?
No, but for us, having a CNC in our workshop, it costs a lot of money. For now, we are just we ask providers to get some pieces. And for us, it's still a good trade, because at the end, we have to also put our work with our hands on every pieces. Every pieces is finished by hand. Mm-hmm. So even if it comes, of course, from a CNC, at the end, there is a human touch from every pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And for us, that's the most important first step. And then for me, doing a watch by ourselves will take a lot of experience to get. For now, we are at the beginning, so I don't want to rush it. I will do, if we had the opportunity, the motivation, and the experience, we will do this. But I will not get directly to that, because for me, I'm not, and I don't have enough experience now to do it. We got some nice lathe machines and stuff, but it was for restoration, not for production. So it's a different world, and we have to see how it works, and it will take a lot of years of training. So for now, we just
taking it slow, that's great. Yeah. That's great. Don't get in over your head. Don't take out any Swiss bank loans. No.
Speaking of that, I'm just wondering, you've got a beautifully equipped atelier. You're young. Have you found it difficult to get to that stage? It sounds to me like a lot of things you connected with some absolutely fantastic people who have all helped in their own way, and that's the beauty of this. This is coming together. You mentioned that you'd like your company to be seen maybe like Kari Voutilainen's, and so I've been looking at your watch for the last week and a half, and the standard of finishing, it just leaves me. I'm captivated by it. It is stunningly beautiful, and I think that you're on your way to that. That's a good benchmark. Voutilainen, it's the best benchmark, some would argue. And but your watches are very mature for guys so young. You're both still in your 20s, are you?
28 and 27. So almost 30.
Don't push it. Don't push it.
It's very close.
No, it's really hard to nail it. Let's say coming out of the gate with your first timepiece, especially when you're young. Usually, you come out of watch school and you do some watches, and you really want to show off. And I said this a few times before, because with being a musician, and if you are a young musician, right, and you put in your time, it's the same thing. You want to, so I was a lead guitar player. So if you're a guitar player, you want to get on stage, or if you're in the recording studio, you want to play as fast as you can and as many notes as you can. You want to show off.
Yeah.
But later in life, you find that the most important thing is to give a piece of your soul to somebody. Needs space, right? Frank Zappa is a musician, very famous musician, and he said something to the effect of space is the song.
Yeah.
You know,
you're talking about guitar. I'm a guitar also player, so I know some people come to me and play very fast, and for me it's very good work. But for me, like for example, I prefer BB King to for example Van Halen, who is playing very fast, because BB King have I don't know, every note he plays there is something in it, and for
his heart, his soul.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And for us, we took time to make every pieces. So every angle we make it by hands very slowly, and we take our time. We don't want to rush it. So it's
my point, what I was getting to is you've kept it more on the traditional side. So usually young watchmakers, what I've seen, their first piece or second piece is like an abortion on the front. You know, is a big. I want to show you every part, no dial. You know, I want you to. And then later in life, you see the same watchmaker will calm down, and if you put a dial back on, and some things maybe peep through the dial or whatever it may be. I think you guys just, a home run right out of the park on your first watch is a perfect balance. It's beautiful execution. So if you sell 20 more, then you can get your own CNC.
Maybe. Why not?
For now, in September we have an engineer who will begin here. So because we think of the future, and we prefer have an engineer than drive a new Ferrari.
Yeah, that's good.
We invest in him. He's 15 years experience only in he worked for DNB for.
So basically, what you guys are so can we say Acrivia? Huh? Is a good setup, right? You understand Acrivia, the watchmaker? Yeah. So he's very similar, right? He has engineer full time developing the next Calibre, which takes maybe 3 years just to start, right? And but you guys can keep working and make money, right? The current watch, and this is a very good plan. And concentrate on finishing, assembly, adjustment, isochronism, right? This is beautiful plan. This is a great plan. This shows, there's different ways to be an independent watchmaker and an independent watch brand for now and for the next century where you guys will be. So some take the path where you are and what you're doing. Other people like me, I like to be alone. I don't like human beings. So I tend to try to do everything myself, and make my own wheels, my gears, and whatever it may be to accomplish within my craziness in here. Some things I can't do. I don't like making watch cases. It's just not my gig, man. That's somebody else's. I don't like getting my hands dirty like that. It's just it's not fun.
But you've done it. You've been there. You know that experience.
I like mechanics. That's what I've always done. I've always fixed stuff my whole life since I was a little kid. I like fixing stuff that other people can't fix. That's just what I like to do. So I don't really want to make a case. I want to the time it would take me to make a case. I can be working on a movement, or doing a hairspring or something like that. So we each have our own little gig and our own story and our own art to give to the world. And that's what me and Johnny are doing here. We're trying to show people it's not like, here's my watch, here's my brand, here's how much it is. I'm a watchmaker. I went to school. That's really not what any of us is about. It really is the whole story you guys told us, how you two fell together in school, and that's really beautiful. How one of you kept trying to get away from the other one kept going after him, and then you end up in the same job in Germany, and then you end up together again, which I'm sure you guys will be together for a very long time because you fit together like a puzzle. You're not, and you play off each other. And I think that those first few months in school where you were each checking each other's work, this shows exactly what you guys are.
Yeah, we are lucky because we are very complementary with our way to think. And we found a really good balance because, of course, of the years of friendship. Gaël told me I will never do a partnership with other people. Maybe one of his best friend, but that's all. It was me or his best friend, and that's all. So
Brilliant.
I really enjoyed his compliments, and we try every day to make it a good atmosphere here. Also,
listen, that all sounds good, but in 10 years we're gonna come back and we're gonna
maybe
we're gonna make sure you got a boxing bag with each of your faces on it. So look, man, you guys know how hard it is to find another watchmaker with a similar mindset, similar passion, similar vision, and who fixes the problems that we suck at. You know, because we all suck at something, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot.
We're human, you know. So it's awesome. This is just a killer story, man. This is how it's done, everybody. If you're really tuning in, and you're still here, and you're young, you can see that this is possible with hard work, perseverance, a vision, study, nonstop. You know, we live this. You know, even at my age and what I'm doing here, I get to start over, right, and do what I'm doing, and it's never ending. It's a beautiful art, watchmaking. So you're never bored. You can say what you guys are saying now, that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but in 10 or 15 years, you know, we can move a little bit to the left or move a little bit to the right, and it's always interesting. It really is. And Carrie is like Johnny said, Carrie's a very good a mentor to look for. He only makes 40 watches or so a year. And that's it. You know, that's his cutoff, and that keeps us at the bench. And it's not a job. It's not a job. It's not a production line. It's
when we visited him, he gave us a lot of advices. We spoke with his watchmakers who were very friendly, and they give also a lot of advices. So for us, Carrie is a very good mentor.
Brilliant, absolutely. And he's everywhere in independent watchmaking, isn't he? I noticed today, Dan, I don't know if you saw the new Schwarz at the end Roma with that Carrie has helped him on, and you know, what with his dials, with his complemine and you know, cases, everything. He's everywhere in independent watchmaking, and it's fun. You know, just to go back to what I was saying, we mentioned a Crivia. When I was looking at your at the 1967, I see a Crivia, not the same, very different, but immaculate finishing. And I'll tell you where else I see that. I see that in Grunefeld. I see that in the likes of Laurent Ferrier, and you know, I think I use the expression mature. It really is like I see that being a classic going forward. And so, how many pieces do you intend to produce of the second more, the 1967?
So we say the 20, so 10 in rose gold and 10 in white gold. And maybe we will make some others, not a lot. We don't want to make a big production of it. Because for two things, it's really difficult to to make it. And the other thing is we really want to thank the first collector who bought it, and you know, we want to keep it really exclusive. And you know, like the John, the first subscription what he made, you know, the first guy who bought it, they trust him, and now they can say, you can see my watch, there are only 20 watch like this. And I like this concept that's, thanking the people that follow you since the beginning.
Well, what you're trying to say, I think, is what me and Johnny are trying to tell all the collectors. When they see a young watchmaker or a team like you guys, or even an older watchmaker or anyone that's breaking out to be an independent, to support them, the pre-production, right? Buy the timepiece, buy 4 or 5 if you can, because you're not giving money to a company for a timepiece. You're investing in independent watchmaking, and you guys are just going to take that money and buy a Shablon 70 and all the accessories. Used, of course, right? You're going to buy a pointer machine, a Hauser, or whatever. You're going to buy what you need to get to the next step, and you own that. There is no bank loan. So what they're doing is they're not just getting a nice watch. That's not really what we're asking in independent watchmaking. They're actually investing in independent watchmaking and giving us the ability, me, you guys, everybody else, to use our brain, our knowledge, and the hard work that you guys have done to come out with the second watch, which is going to kick ass even more, right? Because now you can go, I don't have to worry about money for a little while.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can get someone to sit on the computer and in SolidWorks in 3D and pay him his salary for the year, right? Mm-hmm. So that collector is if you can help all of us, you're escalating independent watchmaking, and right, Johnny, that's what we're doing here, man.
Okay,
trying to get that message in, because a lot of collectors, they might not think like that, man. They might think like, hey, man, I want to help these guys out. I'll buy their first watch, give them half the money up front, kind of thing. But really, if they could actually say, hey, man, what do you guys need? Do you need machines? Can I donate them? Right? That's what we all need in independent watchmaking, right?
Yeah.
And does that happen? Does that happen, Dan? That or maybe Gaël,
yeah, it does. It's behind the scenes. It actually does. And I'm trying to bring it to the forefront is what I'm doing, guys. Just if you're wondering why I try to talk about this in each episode, I'm not telling people to take out their wallet. I'm saying there are people doing this. Some of them, they don't want their name involved. They don't want anything. They are supporting young watchmakers. They're buying their first watch. They're giving them 100% of the money because they know that the guy's not going to take it and go buy a Ferrari. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't, right? If they gave you guys, right here, I want to buy 3 watches. Here's 150,000 Swiss francs. Would you guys go buy a Ferrari or would you go buy a Hauser Jigbora?
Yeah. just 4 wheels will be enough. But the
maybe a Golf, right?
when we started this project, we had a very lucky stuff who came to our workshop. We were still working for Christie's, and one of the clients who bought a watch from Christie's came to our workshop, and he was living in Lausanne, so 15 minutes from here. And he was like, what are you doing? It's very nice here. And we talked about the projects we had. We didn't have any plan, really nothing, and we just have the ideas. We just have the idea of the deadbeat second. And the guys, it's very great. I like the deadbeat second. I really want to invest or to help you. And we had a lot of discussion. And at the end, he bought the first piece. So for us, he helped us.
Before he bought the first piece when the 3D CAD was done. So we had enough money to buy some parts, not all the parts, of course, but it was a very good help because when you begin, he give you the money, but if you fail, he will never have his money back. And he trusted us. Just say, no problem, no contract. I can give you the money. And but you can make something.
Do you have his phone number?
For us, it was very crazy story. So we had a lot of luck to have.
So guys, what I'm trying to tell you is I know this happens more often than this. So I know other people. So there are some very, very good-hearted people with money out there who love what we do. They really do have a passion like we have a passion. They wish they could have time to go to watchmaking school and start life all over again. but they can't. So, but they can live through us. They can't live through Patek Philippe, right? That's just a brand, you know, or a Rolex. You know, I have a Rolex, I have a Patek Philippe. With us, it's about the journey and the story and the love that we want to give back to the world with our timepiece, and where we can get to with it, and the next complication, or you know, what we can do better on the second watch. And they're investing in that. So I call out those guys in every one of these episodes, like, you know, someone like you guys, you know, if after they buy a watch, if these people have really want to help us, they should ask perhaps, hey guys, is there some machines you guys need? Can I help you with some machines? Buy me a box of chocolate next year.
You know, you mentioned Patek and that, like, you know, because 150 years ago, 200 years ago, Patek, Antoine Norbert Patek was doing the same thing, wasn't he? He had his own. He was a guy working on his own. Okay, worked with Francois Zapek first before forming Patek Philippe, but that was pretty much the same model as we're seeing now. What's happened there is a Patek Philippe has become over 150, 175, approaching 200 years. It's become this enormous grande maison, if you like. And but the roots are very similar to your roots.
Right. But I think what's different now is nobody needs a timepiece. We don't need to wear a wristwatch anymore. So we're at a whole new level, and that's why independent watchmaking now is the forefront. We are the pioneers, because now we can truly be artists, and we don't have a boss.
Yes. We saw that on the people. There is a lot of more interest in independence, because people who buy our watch, it's just, I want a watch. It's just we want something special, something like there is a human hand working on it, and we see a lot of more interest in that. So a lot of people trust young watchmaker now better than like 10 or 20 years before. So that's great. That's great for us, and that's great for the future. That the people are more interested in independent watchmaking. And invest in more than just a watch.
It is true. Yes, there's an enormous growth in awareness of independent watchmaking, and I think the big guys are paying attention now. That you know that
don't matter. But Johnny, you know, it's the same as like when we started, you know, the thrash metal, that sound of the four bands that started it. It was never heard before, right? So it's when you hear something in music, all the guys with the suits and the ties, they're just worried about money, right? Also, how can we get some other people and copy them really fast and put out albums? They can't. You know why? It came from here.
Original.
And from up there, through my fingers. It is part of us, and that's what independent watchmaking is now. What these two young watchmakers are doing here, they're together, they're one human, and that's what they produce. You can't copy that. It's impossible. You can't copy that. It's their story. It's the perseverance. Same with what I'm doing here. You can't copy the insanity that I create. It's not freaking.
Because there is a lot of different style, different design, different inspiration, different stories. So
you guys got to be really happy that independent watchmaking is different than it was right back in the 90s when I came out of I was in Wostep and Neuchâtel. You know, you could not do this. Only Paul Gerber, Mark Jenny. That's it. You just no internet, no nothing. How are you going to sell your watch? Even if you can make one, how are you going to sell it? Where?
There wasn't internet before, so it's
you couldn't show it to the world because you would need, even after you made the watch, you would need $5,000 to put an ad in this magazine. $5,000. You can't. It was impossible. That's why I give all that credit to Paul Gerber, because he's not only he's an incredible, mind-blowing watchmaker, but he was 30 years ahead of his time when he's like, oh, I got a triple rotor. Okay, I'm coming to Basel with my triple rotor. Screw you all.
He was the opposite of that. He's such a modest guy, you know. You turn that watch over, and the next thing you go, what am I looking at? Because there's 3 oscillating weights, you know, moving in harmony. And but he was going, oh yes, this is just something I've made.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's fucking groundbreaking. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just took a movement, and you know, for a couple hours, I went on my Asiera F1 mill machine, and here's what I got here. You know, it's
Amazing, yeah.
And he's also one of the first people to embrace CNC. He actually, I think he is the first in his little, you know, to find a little one that worked accurate enough, and get it in his workshop and learn it, and then he with the story I found out from Mark Jenny is that he pushed that like drugs onto him. Like they were like sitting there going, oh man, I got CNC, man. I can make more than one main plate. You know, come on, Mark, you buy one. Yeah, because I just heard this week that just the controller for that little machine way back then cost him like 100,000 Swiss francs.
Yeah.
It was very expensive back then.
Yeah, it's like Dominique Renaud told us that when he has a big contract with IWC, with Renaud Papy, they bought a new CNC, but it was in the 80s, I think, end of 80s. And he said, okay, we have one now, but how can we use it? Because we don't know how to do it. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
And back then, the CNC machine were really, really expensive. Now they can make a nice CNC machine and for less money. It's still a good amount of money, but less than before.
We can also find a lot of used ones because we're not making a lot of timepieces. You know, they're prototype machines. Like I said, we still got to put the metal in. You know, clamp it down. That's what people have to understand. It's no different than me. You know, going on my sixes and it's just as time consuming. Even more, you got to sit and program everything. And make the code doesn't work. The first batch of parts don't work. Second batch of parts, it takes years to get something to get a main plate correct, just to help. And when it comes off the machine, it's pretty much the same as if I use the jig bore over here. It's just as raw. It's really.
Yeah, sometimes it's frustrating that you are doing all the measuration while you are doing your piece. And when it comes out from the leaf, you control, it's not correct. So you have to redo it again and again until it's very perfect. So.
I'm saying that because I know you guys said that, you know, you're having a part supplier because you're in Switzerland, you're able to do that. In my country, there's nobody that makes main plates. It doesn't even exist. Okay, you can't go anywhere, even with money. It just doesn't exist. But you guys have that ability. But people should know why you're saying, hey man, we don't want no part of that right now. We got enough on our hands. Just getting those raw parts, you know, finished to the way we finish, which is badass. You know, you guys.
Let's have a look at some of these here because we've been talking a lot about, different aspects of it. The finishing is just this is haute horlogerie, isn't it? You know, that is uncompromising. These are words I've used to describe this this evening, and it's just uncompromising finishing. And as you said, there's black polishing, there's mirror polishing, I see, and the anglage, the shape of the bridges. It's amazing.
Took a lot of hours. So
how are you guys? How are you guys doing the Coast de Genève? Did you build your own machine?
Not yet, but
for now we're asking a guy who make these Côte de Genève. Because we have no machine for that, and we prefer to have a really nice Côte de Genève, and we want to do it by ourselves later, but we prefer asking someone else to do it, and we know that the quality is really good, better than doing by ourselves and not being very proud of it.
But later we will try to improve and maybe have a machine and starting to have experience in this.
You know, you should take. Do you follow Christian Lass, the watchmaker? He's also a teacher.
Okay.
Look him up. He built his own CNC machine. He used to, if I'm correct, he used to run the museum in La Chaux-de-Fonds, the historic museum. So he's incredible. He just built his own Costa Genève machine. I built one here too. It took me 8 months to get just the angles right.
Yeah.
But I did accomplish my mission. But you don't need because to buy one is $30,000. You guys know that.
Yeah.
So look on his. I'll send you guys. He built a really nice machine. It's the right way. You can angle the top this way. Put me back up for a second, Johnny. You can angle the top this way, or this way, and back and forth, and turn everything. Not expensive.
Okay. Yeah, we really want to try to buy to construct a machine, or even buy an old one and make it new. We know a very good watchmaker in France, who's Luc Monet, who's making a machine himself. Sometimes Gaël call him because he wants some advice, and Luc say, yeah, it's simple. You take this, and you make like this, and it work like this, and it's like, yeah, slow down, please. When you see his machine, it's so crazy, and he does it all by himself. So for us, it's a very good.
I talked to Luc this morning.
You know him.
We know each other. We know each other a very long time.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
As far as I'm concerned, he's in my eyes, he's the most amazing watchmaker anywhere. But only some people now find out because I yelled at him a few years ago. You have to post something on Instagram. He's behind the scenes. He just works, but he has a heart to help people.
Yeah. But today we saw the machine he did for the rolling the pivot on Instagram. It's so perfect, so beautiful. The machine, everything works perfectly. So for us, it's.
I have one. He's make me.
Okay. That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. And
Luke posted a video, I think, a day or two ago of cutting a wheel, not cutting a wheel, but applying the anglage, the mechanical anglage before it did the hand finishing. And it just was incredible to see these little processes that most people don't know. They look at a watch, they appreciate it for how it looks and how it feels on the wrist, but to see how it all comes together. So Luc Monet, and I was speaking to Cyril Brivet-Naudot this morning too. So we will be talking to Cyril in the next few weeks as well. So.
Yeah, well, but that Luc is the epitome of the top of the top of the top of independent watchmaking. What I call a ghost builder. So in music is ghost songwriter, right? Yeah. Like somebody writes your song, but you're not allowed to say who. Yeah. So you watch somebody play on stage and you think it's their song, but they didn't write it, right? Yeah. So that's Luc. He works for some of the biggest names in watchmaking. In independent watchmaking, that you think the independent is making the opinions, it's Luc.
Yeah.
He's the top of the badass tree.
Yeah. One thing I really like it is, you say, the first lathe about it was not precise at all, but I need this on the lathe, and now I can rectify my own chuck, and you say I start with nothing, but I can make my machine precise, and that's really nice, because when you are in watchmaking school, especially in Switzerland, the schools are a lot of money, so you have new tools, new kind of stuff, and when you begin as independent, you say, I need a new lathe, or I need this, and everything costs a lot of money, but then you learn that you can make a lot of by yourself, make the machine more precise, or this machine is a lathe, but if I want to transform it in something to polish the pinions, I can make a new one. And when you see the Luc Monet's work, that's exactly what it's improved.
We also, what he does a lot, he teaches us a lot, because as good is not good enough, and best is not good enough.
Yeah.
So even what Chablin makes to cut pinions on a Chablin, it's not good enough. So we get Nakamichi spindles, and he builds his own contraption. And because I get some of his spindles over in America, they're cheaper because we like to save money too, and I send them to France over, and he helps other people. I know he just did a machine for somebody we're going to have on here soon for Remy Cools. Luke just did a Hauser 2A for him.
Okay.
He hopped it up like a Ferrari.
It's almost like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good investment.
I think we'll find every time me and Johnny, right? We're going to interview people somehow, some way. Luke has helped that person somehow, some way. He's I don't know how he doesn't. There's no way he sleeps. It's impossible.
It's not the thing about the independent sector that everybody is helping one another. Yes, you are your competitors. Yes, when you're standing there and you're exhibiting in Genève or in any of the big watch shows, yes, you're competing. But there's also a sense of community about the independent sector and a willingness to help one another. And I think, okay, we mentioned an hour ago, we were talking about Sven Andersen and his willingness to impart his knowledge, his skills, because really and truly, if you don't do that, the traditional watchmaking skills that are already scarce, who's going to hand those on? You know, so I think, and if you look at the names, Dan, that we've just mentioned there now in the last few minutes, we mentioned Remy Cools, who we'll hopefully be talking to next week, Cyril Brivet-Naudot, Luc Monet, all young guys who are the next generation of independent watchmaking. And it excites me, guys, to look at the quality of your work and to see that it's in good hands. So I'm well impressed.
Well, look,
to keep it like that.
What we're trying to say is, when you guys get older, don't be a dick. Help people, the next time through. It's because that's really what this is all about. Luca co-developed the Escapement from Louis Richard that I designed my own of.
Yes.
So we all work together behind the scenes like this because we believe in open source watchmaking for your generation and what I'm doing here to share. If somebody wants to use the Escapement, you call me. I send you the CAD. If you check out, you're okay, and not.
Yeah, I really thought about this, something like that, because when you are independent, you want to make your own watch. It's difficult, and make a simple movement freehand in open source, and it would be nice, to begin something, and if you want to use it, you can, add something on this open source. It could be really cool a lot of time.
Yeah. What we did behind the scenes, what we're trying to do is for people like you. You guys have discovered, right? You can have parts made, but what happens in the end? You can't make the escape wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully after when I'm done with my timepiece, people will see, okay, now it's me, now it's Cyril, it's working, right?
Yeah.
You can make this escape wheel, in your workshop. It's no problem, and the escapement is mind-blowing accurate. It's incredible. It's beyond the lever escapement. Is much better accuracy. Better. So this is the goal. So to bring open source escapement, so that people, the next people like you who want to make a time-only movement or whatever it is, here's the plans, and you can make your escape wheel and pallet in your workshop. No problem. Yeah. Look at Cyril. Cyril does it with no CNC.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
Very good job.
Yeah.
We saw him.
Hey, Dan, look what time it is. Do you know, we have not asked one question here. Do you think these guys, I'll get this Omega off. Yeah. But
we can't afford our own timepieces. That's the old saying.
okay, you want to get a job like mine, man? Fucking hell! But hey, listen, Florian, I saw a photograph of you wearing a Led Zeppelin T-shirt. Like, you know, are you a rocker or what is going on there, man?
That's a big fan of this group. That's my favorite band. So I'm also a small guitar player. It's not a big deal. Just
yeah. Well, what kind of music do you like? You know, did you?
So Led Zeppelin, of course, all the blues stuff, the whole rock and roll from hard rock from 70s, and yeah, mostly of that. But Gaël listen a lot of rap, French rap also. So sometimes he listened to rap in the workshop. So I discovered rap also, and I also liked it step by step. But mostly it's rock and roll, hard rock. And,
so you guys play music in the workshop while you work?
No. No? It's not a studio. So.
Okay.
Only vinyl.
Well, I always ask this question. Some people, they have the headphones in and they're blasting Slayer. It's crazy. And some people quiet. I like quiet. I have to have quiet.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I'm listening Led Zeppelin while I'm working. So it's okay, but not more louder.
So before we go, can you tell us what machines you have in your workshop? There's only a couple pictures on Instagram, so we all can't see everything. We see a couple Chablins. Maybe explain to us.
You can take the.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, do a workshop tour.
Let's do that. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a bigger. Let's see.
So it's quite small. So we because we have a new watchmaker in September and in January we have to change everything. So now, for example, there is we making this work, and we use this one, so the big one, we share this one, and here, so we have a drill. I don't know if it's the
right.
Yeah, I don't know the name, but we about this Asiera. Then we have a lathe Shogun 70, which is quite complete. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, just about. Keep remember, keep close to the microphone. Here, I need one of them Shogun 70s. I just realized.
Yeah, we have the 70 and the 120, and this profile projector, and
wow.
We harden our piece here, and then we eat here. Basically, and of course we have a microscope, and like I say, we have no time to clean it, and we have like a VG machine, but it's a optical sound controlling watches, and the safe.
Safe.
Yeah, the most
important. Yeah, you don't get anybody's money without the safe. So, what is the next machine you guys think you need for your shop? Is it a pointer machine? Is next?
Yeah, it would be perfect for prototyping. I think it's very important. But now for the series that we have to make with the 10-bit second, we don't need it now. But and the other machine we want to buy, it's the
Agathon tool grinder.
Yeah, I would love to have this. You know, at the end, if you have really good tools, you can nice.
Yeah.
I tell people this should be the first tool when you're in school to try to find and restore and fix up is the most important tool. But people don't think I got to get a Bowley or I got to get a Sharpton 70. But how are you going to make your tools?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now that's okay with the tool we have, but it would be perfect with this Agathon.
Yeah. I was this close from getting one in here, but I have a decal that does the same thing with the added features to hold the lathe tools the same way. So a decal SO, very rare to find with the lathe attachments.
Okay.
And you might see it on my Instagram. It's painted like Van Halen's guitar.
Maybe I saw it.
Yeah. So it's not normal decal for drills. It's actually it has a Agathon attachment.
Okay. I will check.
But I want Agathon because the oil. Without the oil, the dust, the carbide is everywhere. It's no good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. I tell you what, it has. We've hit the 1 hour 30 mark, and like we always say, we're going to do it for an hour. Whenever I send you an email, I said, guys, we're just going to have a talk for an hour. We haven't managed to do that yet, really. But we're hitting the 1 hour 30. So I think it's time to wrap it up. But I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank yourself. Florian, Gaël, for joining us and showing us a little bit about your work, telling us your story, which is, there's no two watch companies have the same story, Dan. And so to hear this, it's encouraged. I think it encourages young people to see other guys at similar age doing what they want to do and falling in love with a profession that you never want to retire from. You're going to do this. This is finding your vocation. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. For everyone who has been watching again tonight, thanks so much for watching In the Metal. We really appreciate it. We have our new website up, which is inthemetalpodcast.com, and you find all the stuff there, all the links to all of our interviews with the people that we've spoken to over the last 3 months. Next week is our 20th episode. Where did that go, Dan?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I'm getting older by the day, bro.
You tell me about it, man. With people not turning up in 2 seconds to go, I'm getting grey hairs shooting out everywhere.
I want to say thank you to you guys. You're exactly, in my eyes, you both set the correct path of how to get to be young, be independent, be traditionally trained, be perseverant, and somehow stumble upon some of the greats of our time. Later on in your life, you're going to look back and go, how was I sitting at Sven Andersen? Like, I didn't realize where I was, right? Yeah. So later, and this is a wonderful path to show it can be done. You didn't just come out of school and restore an old movement and put it in a case and put a dial on it and sell it. You really have your own in-house movement, which is what we're bringing to the world today to tell them it's really not based on another movement, which it should be clarified after this everywhere. Somebody should do an article to say, you are making all your own wheels, your own pinions. It's your own design, your own move from the ground up. And this is very impressive for 2 guys of your age and to be a team. You're good team players. It's just wonderful, man. And we wish you all the best of everything you are. And you're holding the flag for independent watchmaking for now and for the next generation, man.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much
for your interest also. It's a
pleasure. One of our regular watchers, Captain Forrest, you asked us a question. I am really sorry we did not get down to that question. It was a really good one. But hey, Captain Forrest, next time. And the other thing too is, guys, the next time we have something new to show us, don't be a stranger. Let's do this again. And because what we want to do is shine a light on independent watchmaking. And I'm not just talking about the big names that everyone knows, but everybody needs oxygen of exposure. And if that's what In the Metal can do, bring it on. So everyone, my 5-minute goodbyes are becoming quite famous now. So listen, thanks to everyone for watching us, from myself, from Dan, from Florian, from Gaël, and we will catch you next time on In the Metal.